Hi, I'm Jim Athern from the Prosthetics and Orthotics department. Prosthetics is the art and science of making a prosthesis, which is an artificial limb, and orthotics is the art and science of making an orthosis, which is a brace. I can take you on a quick tour of how we do these and what they are if you'll follow me. We'll start with a mold of the patient in most cases. This is a cast of a patient's leg for a brace, and it's done just like you would cast for a broken limb. You wrap the leg in fiberglass tape or plaster and remove it. This is then taken and covered with saran wrap so it doesn't leak. Then we fill it with plaster with a pipe sticking out, which hardens. Once we strip that cast off, we have a positive model of our patient. This positive model can be put in a vise to be worked on, and they'll modify it, which means making it smooth on the bottom so that it stands up straight. They put build-ups on any bony prominences so that there's no rubbing when it's made, and they cut away plaster wherever we want to put pressure. So when plastic is molded over this, it's going to be a little bit looser wherever there's a build-up, and it's going to be a little bit tighter wherever we carve away plaster. An example of one of the types of braces we might make, this is a brace for a child with cerebral palsy or one of our lower level spina bifida patients, and it's called a floor reaction orthosis. Another type of a brace is a big brace like this for somebody that's much more involved. This is for somebody who has a higher level of spina bifida or somebody that's got a spinal cord injury. This is a patient who's got paralysis from about the waist level down or even a little higher. And what this does is it links the two legs together by way of this rocker bar in the back. As I move the legs, that goes up and down. And now you can really see its mechanism. We also do bracing for the spine. And in the background here, you see an x-ray of a patient with scoliosis. We'd have a patient like that, and it would be important to try to straighten this curve until they reach maturity, which is usually about 16 years old. A little less for girls, a little bit more for boys. And what we would do is measure our patient, and by using the x-ray, we place pads inside strategically to press against the ribs that articulate with the curve in the spine. So it holds the spine straight, or straighter at least, while they're wearing the brace. We do the same thing with prosthetics. We take a cast of the patient, we fill the cast with plaster with a pipe so that we have a model to work on. Since it's so critical, the fit on a prosthesis, we'll most often do what we call a check socket. This is an example of a check socket. They've got their knee, which would sit right about here in the socket, and then they're down inside of it with their leg. What this allows us to do is view their skin through the plastic. If we see the skin blanching, we know it might be too tight on a bony area, and make adjustments, make this a little bit bigger there. If we see gapping, then we know that there might need to be more total contact so you don't get edema from the skin hanging there. Once we have this fitting appropriately, we'll attach what we call an alignment jig, and it's mounted over in this case, a knee and the foot. And what this allows us to do now, we know our socket fits, we'll walk our patient in what we call a dynamic alignment stage. This allows us to shift the socket forward and backward. It allows us to shift it side to side, and it allows us to make angular changes. Now once we have that done, and the foot's walking flat on the floor, we can finish it up. And this is an example of one that's been finished up. The alignment device has been taken out, a longer pylon has been put in to bring the knee up to where it's appropriate. We like to have the kids choose what they want on the outside. It makes it a lot more fun for them. We'll also evaluate their suspension needs. Is this patient going to be playing sports? Do they need something that's very easy to take on and off and is very secure? In this case, we have what we call a pin lock system. When they want to take it off, they just push the button, pull it, and then roll it back off again so that it's ready for the next time they use it. We had a girl a while back in high school who wanted to play in the high school band, violin. Let's get them into some sports, because this is a hockey arm. This fits over their stick, and then they can use their intact arm for their power. We do a few myoelectrics, and it has electrodes on the inside that go up against the muscle bodies. When they contract, the patient contracts his or her muscle, the hand will open or close depending on which muscle they're contracting and which electrode is affected by that. One of the common problems that patients complain of is heat inside of their prostheses. And our assistant director, Steve Thompson, has really spearheaded our efforts to find ways to ventilate sockets. And he's very carefully trimmed away areas that are not vital for the support and the strength of the socket, but will allow a lot of area for air passage and wicking of perspiration. So thank you very much for visiting our department. Hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing you again sometime.